So there are several tips and tricks of some things that are in PowerPoint that I want to show you today. First one, this is where your shapes are located, right? You go to insert, you go to shapes, and you have the ability to make different shapes. Possibly, let's say we're going to make a rectangle, and then we're going to put a circle above it. Kind of looks like a keyhole, a little bit. But if I go to it and I try to make it so that it is colored with an outline, it looks weird because of this line right here. Even if I take it and I bring that forward, it still looks weird. But watch this, because PowerPoint has added a new tool, and it's really neat, that if I highlight both of those pieces, I can go here again under the Pictures tab, and I can union those pieces. And now look, it's made it one piece. Now, if I change my color or I change my outline, it does that for the whole shape, not just the different pieces. Okay? Now, I'm going to hit Control Z to back up for just a moment because I want to show you what some of these other options are. I can combine them and notice that it takes away part of it. I can fragment it, and this is really cool because look at all the dots. What it did was it broke those two pieces into separate pieces. You want to make a puzzle? This is a way to do that. So let me put everything back together real quick. You can also intersect, so it leaves just where the two pieces come together, or you can subtract. Okay, so those are shape options that are available for us in PowerPoint. Another thing that I want to show you that's really cool, and this is one that I struggled with for a long time, was I wanted to be able to put a second outline, for lack of a better term, around my words. So I type my name, I make the letters red, I make the outline black. I can change the thickness of the outline, but that doesn't really give me the option to make a third color outline, right? So what I've learned to do is I go to shape format, I go to text effects, and I grab a glow color, whatever it may be. I don't necessarily like blue, but for this I'm going to show you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here to glow options. I'm going to make that glow a grayish color so that it's not black, but I'm going to turn that transparency off. I'm going to turn the soft edges off. Oop, they're off. And what we end up getting here is, to an extent, that third color as an extra outline. What made me want to do that is I was trying to figure out how to add this extra coloring here, and I was able to do that using glows. Doesn't look exactly the same, but if I take it and I make it a white font with a black outline, and then I make that glow got to go to text options, sorry. Make that glow a red color. It sort of gives me that second outline. It's not perfect, But you can get the idea there of what I'm trying to do. Maybe bring it in a little bit, looks a little bit better. So those are a couple of things that I've been able to do with PowerPoint. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be adding a shape, make it black. How many people like to go to the beach? Anybody like to go to the beach? Depends on my mood. Sometimes I like the beach, sometimes I don't. So I want to show you something that I used to teach my students to do. I would bring this in close like this, and I would take those letters and I would make them green. Okay, I would grab snipping tool and I would snip that. Control C, I would come back here and delete all of this, and then I would paste that image. Click and drag it so that it's full screen again. Now, the reason that I did that is I'm going to take this picture of a beach and I'm going to put it into my background. So I'm going to stretch it to be my whole screen. I'm going to send it to the back. I'm going to click on this front image, go back to picture format under color. When I set transparent color to the green, now I can see through my words. Okay. Now, what I've had some people do is I put a straight image of the beach there. Some people might put a video back there so that you've got a video in the back behind showing through your letters. I had a student last class actually type the word hunting, and then he put a video of a deer walking, and so the deer was walking through his letters. It was really cool. So I used to do it that way. One thing that has happened, remember those tools I just showed you under shapes? PowerPoint realized, I guess, that people like to do what we just did through a workaround. And so they've added that same tool now within their tools. So I type the word beach, I click on the box first, then the letters, I go to shape and combine, and it does the same thing. Okay, so there's that. Now, one more tool before we start with our stop motion, and this is one of my favorite things. I need a shape that is not available in this menu of shapes. So what do? I make it myself. There are a couple of things you can do. You can go to shapes and you can grab this squiggly tool and you can draw. But unless you're a really good drawer, it might not draw out the way you want it to. But if I go to my shape and I go right here to edit points, watch my dots. They go from white to black. Now I can change my shape. Watch my cursor change so that I can get different shapes. This lets me change the direction of the curves. And if you click off, just go back to your edit points and you get your tools back. and I'm able to adjust my shapes. Okay. Maybe you want to bring this in for whatever reason. You can readjust your shapes that way. Okay. So those are a couple of tools as far as shapes and images. So let's talk about making a stop motion movie, because that's what you're going to be doing today. What I want you to see, here's Mr. Turtle. Okay. So remember when we used remove.bg when we were editing movies? PowerPoint will do something very similar. It's not quite as pretty, but it works. If you go to picture format, highlight your picture, this remove background option, everything that's pink is going to go away. Now, you can adjust things. So I can mark areas to keep. So I want to keep the face on this particular slide. So I work through the process. I do all of this work. And then I go to remove, and I want to remove the rest of my turtle. All I want is the neck. Sometimes it works great the first time. Sometimes you have to manipulate it several different times to work. But you can see there, I just took that turtle and I've taken everything out. I did the same thing here to remove the shell. Here's the under part of the shell. Here's the feet. There's another foot. There's a tail. So now I have my turtle in all the different pieces. Why? Because I have taken that turtle, I've put all the pieces together. I again took my squiggly line under insert, shapes, this one, I drew a mountain range. I gave it color, gave it an outline, and I made a mountain range back here. I did a green block and a blue block, making all of these parts for my stop motion. And then once I set all my times and transitions, my turtle walks across the screen. Okay, so that's how we're going to make stop motions today. You're going to create a blank slide, and you're going to start working on stop motion. You might simply start with a shape that you want to move onto the screen. Right-click, duplicate your slide, grab your shape, and simply move it 3 arrow keys. That's it. Then you duplicate your slide again, 3 arrow keys. Now, it's going to take a lot of work, but the ending results are very cool. This, if you saw our news this morning, this was our news opening. 557 slides, but it is a very cool presentation. Everything that's happening on screen right now is PowerPoint. Okay? So the last thing that I want to show you is how to set up your timings. You're going to go right here to the Transitions tab, In the Transitions tab, make sure you are at None. And over here on the side, under Advanced Slide, you want to check that, and you want to click on the very last number. Change it to a 6 so that it's 6/100ths of a second, and then apply to all. And then what that does is it moves your slides at 6/100ths of a second. That's why it moves so rapidly that it looks like it's moving through the progression of images. Okay? One more thing that I want to tell you is I want to show you this real quick. Some people like to copy paste their slides. Okay? So if I right click and copy and then right click and paste my slide, I lose that color because color on the background doesn't transfer, okay? You've got to come right here and duplicate your slide. That's what lets it transfer. Click 1, 2, 3. Duplicate. Click 1, 2, 3. You can move them up or down. You can rotate it a little bit. All of those things, but that's what we're going to be working on today. Is you are building a stop motion. You may choose to do a scene with characters. You may choose to do letters, any of those types of things. Okay? Good luck.
Hey guys, thanks for watching today's edition of Tech Tips with Mr. Reece. Don't forget, subscribe down below and share it with your friends. Bye.